Derek Baker, Virginia Department of Fire Programs, Officer Program Manager. Again, let's go and make some changes here. I want to go in one of the boxes here in the Officer Program. Go ahead and hit this arrow down. It gives you everything down here that you want to see as far as the assignments, flashcards, etc. If you want to make change, you hit this arrow going down, and then you go down, you hit Edit Settings. Once you hit Edit Settings, you can pretty much go in here and create whatever you want with that assignment. Now, this assignment here asks the students to describe the 5 components of the communication cycle and state how you will control the grapevine. Okay, if you want to add something to that, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it. Again, right here is the dates of your assignments where you should go ahead and enable when you can submit and when you cannot submit anymore. So, make sure you hit the enable. You have to put a check mark in this box for it to work. Okay, this box here says allow submissions from. You should put a date here that's going to be before you deliver that chapter, and then you go down here and you put a due date for when you meet again with the class when the assignment is due. You make sure you click that, you check that again. If you ever had any questions about these boxes here, you just hit the question mark and it'll actually tell you, what's going on. This right here is the due date, okay? So then you go down to cutoff date. If you decide you don't want students to submit any more after this date, you put a date in here, you make sure you enable, and then you move on down the list. Okay, going on down here, if you want to, make sure that, they can create a file, they can add an attachment or an online text, go ahead and check these boxes right here. And then if you want to put a word count on here, you can do that as well, but they won't allow you until you check the box. So let's just say I want to have a word count of about, say, 200, which may be a lot, but anyway, that's what I want. So I do that. The maximum amount of upload files, you can make this anything you want. If you want them to put 10 files in there, I mean, that's a little too much, but you can do whatever you want. You go to the next box here. That's the maximum submission, size, 500 megabytes, but it'll give you whatever you want. And somebody might want to do a little bit more than that. Okay, then you go down to the feedback types. You click these buttons right here if you want. Now, don't worry about the offline grading worksheet, but the feedback files and the feedback comments, if you want to add comments, allow comments for certain papers, you can do that as well. Okay. Moving on down to the require students to click submission button. Yes, you want them to click when they do their assignment that yes, my assignment was done. And they clicked at it, the bottom and save it, and it tells them that they have clicked and done their assignment and submitted it to you, the instructor. Require students to accept submission statement. Yes, you can go ahead and check that, but if you really want to know what that means, you just hit the question mark right there. It'll define what it is. Requires students accept submission statement for all submissions to this assignment. If you want to do that, it's not important, but if you want to do it, fine. Going down here, don't worry about the attempts or the automatically until I pass. Don't worry about any of those two right there. That's some trivial stuff right there. Okay, when we get to the group, require all group members to submit. This should be no. Okay, you don't want group assignments on Navigate. The group assignment should be done in the classroom. This will mess everything up because once one person reports, if you don't have the proper settings, everybody will get a notification, and you can get students that weren't even in the proper group that'll get notifications. Okay, here's what's important right here. Notify graders about submissions. You want that to be a yes because, yes, you want them to know that you have graded their papers. Notify graders about late submissions. Yeah, you want that to be yes as well. Okay, but the only way you're going to do that is to set the have the settings done in a proper order. Okay, let's see here. Moving on down. How you grade. You can actually use a scale. You can use a point system, or you can just do none. But it's got to be the scale or point. Okay, we'll use the scale right here. Scale is either pass or fail. But again, That's what was recommended. Then you can either go to complete, incomplete, you can go to satisfactory, or you can go to separate and connected ways. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. Either use pass, fail, or complete or incomplete. Those are recommended right there. And here is your, if you want to use the point scale, I'll go down a point right here, and then, you know, you put down your maximum points, which will be 100. Okay, so that's using the point scale. But if I were you, I would go ahead and use the scale format, whereas we do a pass fail. Okay, keep on moving on down. Grading, simple grading right there. You can either use a marking guide or a rubric if that's what you want to do. Okay, I wouldn't recommend it. I would go ahead and use the simple direct grading until I became a master of Navigate 2. Your grade category, you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about these items here. Moving on down all the way to group modes. Make sure you have no groups. Okay, you don't want any groups. You don't even want separate or visible. And if you want the definitions of that, hit this question mark, and it'll explain it right there and the reasons why you don't want it. Okay, but when you make all these different changes up here, you got to make sure you go down here and save and return, or save and display. Either way, you hit one of these saves, because if you don't hit one of these saves, all that work you just did will be for naught. Okay, you just wasted time. All right, that's it. Thank you.